I never figured I'd be the guy locking horns with a homeowners association thought. I'd left that kind of nonsense behind when I ditched the city for a quiet patch of dirt out in Willow Creek. After 30 years grinding through state agricultural offices, writing policies that kept farms alive and food on tables, all I wanted was a little corner of the world where I could grow my pears, sip coffee on a creaky porch, and let the trees do the talking. That was the plan. Anyway, Tom Carver, a widower with a bad back and a soft spot for fruit trees, just try to live small and simple. For a couple of years, it was perfect. I had this beat-up old farmhouse on a 5-acre plot just outside the HOA's reach, 38 pear trees that fought me for every ripe fruit, and a view of the hills that made the early mornings worth it. I'd spent my career enforcing rural soil standards, crop regulations, you name it, so I knew my land was zoned right, grandfathered under old county laws that let me do what I loved without asking permission. I called it Carver's Grove, though the kids around here just called it Tom's Place. I'd set up a little stand by the road, nothing fancy, just a wooden table with a sign. Take a pear, leave what you can. Some folks dropped $1, some left a note. One guy even left a jar of homemade honey with a scribble that said, "Your pears, my bees fair trade." That's how it was in Willow Creek, or at least how I thought it was. Then she showed up Lydia Stokes, all sharp heels and sharper glares, strutting into the neighborhood like she owned the sun itself. She'd moved into one of those big new houses on the ridge, the kind with too many windows and a lawn that looked like it was mowed with a ruler. I first noticed her walking her yappy little dog past my grove every morning, always squinting at my trees like they'd personally offended her. I figured she'd get over it. Some folks don't like the smell of mulch or the sight of an old tractor rusting in the sun. But by late spring, the letters started coming. Not from the county, not from the town, but from the Willow Creek HOA, addressed to property occupant in this fussy, official-looking font. The first one was all polite venom. Your land's appearance does not align with our community's aesthetic standards. I chuckled, tossed it in the fire pit, and kept pruning. Then another landed. Commercial activity is prohibited within or adjacent to HOA boundaries. That one made me pause. I wasn't running a business just sharing pears with folks who stopped by. I'd written the damn state laws on rural exemptions, so I knew my little stand didn't break a single rule. Still, I could feel the noose tightening. Lydia didn't waste time. One morning, she marched up to my gate, arms crossed, her dog yipping like a car alarm. "You need to take down that stand, Tom," she said, not even pretending to smile. "It's tacky, it's lowering property values, and it's bringing strangers into our neighborhood." I wiped the sweat off my brow, tipped my hat, and said, "Morning, Lydia. This land's been zoned for agriculture since before you were born. I'm not selling to supermarkets, just giving away pears." Her eyes narrowed. "The HOA has standards," she snapped, "and we enforce them." I just nodded, went back to my crates, and let her stew. People like Lydia don't fight to win, they fight to control. And when they can't, they make you the enemy. It escalated fast. A week later, a thick envelope arrived from the HOA's compliance committee, stuffed with 6 pages of jargon about adjacent land violations and a demand to shut down my stand or face a hearing. It was the kind of document that screams, "We're hoping you're too scared to read this." But I'd spent decades untangling red tape. I brewed a coffee, pulled out my old zoning files, and sent them a letter back dry, polite and sharp as a tack. "My land's outside your jurisdiction, per county records. My activities are protected under state law. Any further action will be considered harassment. Sincerely, Tom Carver." I didn't hear back for a few days, but then the flyers started showing up slipped under my gate, stuffed in mailboxes, bold red letters screaming, "Is our community safe?" and "Strangers at the pear stand." It was Lydia, of course, stirring up fear, painting me as some shady drifter running a black market fruit empire. I felt the shift neighbors who used to wave started avoiding my eyes. Ruth, this sweet older lady who'd bought pears for her cobblers, hurried past without a word. A church group canceled their bake sale near my grove. Then the cameras appeared, little motion sensor ones zip-tied to the HOA's trail fence, pointed right at my trees. When I asked about them, they said it was for wildlife monitoring. When I took one down, a letter warned me not to tamper with HOA property. I started documenting everything, every letter, every flyer, every glare from Lydia as she lingered by my fence. I called an old buddy from the state office, who confirmed Lydia was flooding the county with complaints about unregulated produce and soil hazards. She was trying to bury me in bureaucracy, hoping I'd crack. But I didn't. I kept tending my trees, smiling at the kids who still came by, acting like nothing was wrong. That drove her nuts. The breaking point came on a crisp October morning. I was setting up for a school group, third graders, all giggles and backpacks, coming to learn about pollination and pick a few pears. I just stacked some baskets when two police cruisers rolled up, lights flashing, cutting through the morning haze. Lydia was there, leaning against the fence, phone in hand, smirking like she'd finally won. The officer, a guy barely older than my grandson, stepped out. "Mr. Carver, we've got a report of unauthorized commercial activity involving kids. Can we talk?" I looked at the bus, the kids' faces pressed to the windows, then back at him. "Sure," I said, calm as could be, "but you might want to run my name first." He scribbled it down, his partner tapped it into a tablet, and I saw the moment it hit their eyes widened, just a flicker. "You that Tom Carver?" the older one asked, voice low. "State AG enforcement, retired?" I nodded. 25 years. Wrote half the rural codes you're enforcing. They glanced at each other, then at Lydia, who was still smirking, oblivious. We stepped away from the bus, out of earshot. "Look," the officer said, rubbing his neck. "The call said you're running an unsafe operation. No permits, possible contamination. But I took your soil safety class years ago. I know you're clean." I handed him my binder zoning maps, exemptions, lab tests, all in order. They flipped through it, nodded, and handed it back. "You're good, Mr. Carver. Sorry for the trouble." Lydia lost it. She stormed over, heels clicking, voice shrill. "You're letting him off? He's a hazard. There are kids here." The officer held up a hand. "Ma'am, this land's not yours to regulate. And frankly, you're wasting our time." Her face went red, then pale, like she'd seen a ghost. The kids piled off the bus, laughing, grabbing pears, while Lydia stood there, frozen, irrelevant for the first time. I thought that'd be the end, but Lydia wasn't one to quit. She doubled down. Flyers got nastier, claiming I was some government plant dodging laws to experiment on the neighborhood. She roped in the new HOA president, Ethan Walsh, a tech bro with big ideas and zero backbone. They proposed a bylaw to control adjacent land aesthetics, which was as illegal as it sounds. I showed up to their meeting, first time ever, carrying my binder and wearing my old state council jacket. Lydia was mid-speech, all fire and brimstone, when she saw me. She faltered, tried to recover with a fake smile. "Tom, here to address our concerns?" I took the mic, slow and steady. "I'm here to set the record straight." For 10 minutes, I laid it out, me years in AG enforcement, the laws I'd helped write, the fact that their bylaw was a pipe dream. I passed out copies of my documents, watched Ethan's face go pale as he read. The room was quiet. Then it erupted, not in anger, but in applause. Lydia didn't say a word. She just left. After that, the tide turned. A local reporter, Sarah Klein, got wind of the story and ran a piece called The Pear Grove Rebellion. It went viral. People shared on farming forums, veteran groups, even HOA horror story pages. Neighbors came back, Ruth with her cobblers, the church group with their bake sale. But Lydia wasn't done. She filed a petition with the county to challenge my land zoning, claiming it was misclassified. I call an old colleague, Dr. Ellen Hart, who sent a letter confirming my exemptions in under a day. I filed a public records request with the HOA, and what came back was gold mails from Lydia to Ethan, one saying he's bluffing. No one checks the codes. Call it contamination, they'll believe anything. I sent it all to Sarah. Her next article, HOA Tyranny in Willow Creek, ended Lydia. The HOA board voted her out, 7-0. She moved away, tried to join another HOA, but word travels fast. The Grove's different now. I turned it into a community trust open for school trips, picnics, even a winter lantern walk where kids carry paper lights through the trees. It's not about me anymore. It's about them, the kids drawing pictures of Tom's Peace Grove, the veterans swapping stories under the branches, the neighbors who learn fear doesn't win when truth's on your side. I didn't fight Lydia with anger. I fought with paper, with patience, with roots that ran deeper than her ego. And yeah, she's suing the HOA now, claiming they wronged her, but it's going nowhere. The truth's out, documented, unshakable. I'm sitting on my porch tonight, Scout dozing at my feet, the air thick with the smell of pears and frost. I think about how close I came to letting Lydia's noise drown out my quiet. But I didn't. And now this grove, these trees theory, not just mine. They're ours. So what do you think? Ever had to stand up to someone like Lydia? Or an HOA gone wild? Drop a comment. Tell me your story. Let's keep the truth growing.